Hey all, I'm back. Finished Boba Fett with the tissue paper. As you can see, it's all white. It's gone a bit darker than usual, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so with the knee pads and the shoulder pads, they've been super glued on because they've been pushed into this plasticine. Now, as I was saying to you earlier, so that's what happens. So the tissue paper is not that hard, where you can't push your armour or what into it. So it still gives it a good effect, and you don't have to use glue, you just push it back in like you would when you're building it, and it's good to go, like so. So like I said, the only things I have glued are the joints, of course, puttied them up and glued the knee pads and the shoulder pads on, and that's it. Okay, so now it's starting to paint it. So what I'll do, I'll just take these sections off. Oh, sorry, the gun. Okay, so what I've done with the weapon is cut the barrel off, used a 1/35 scale shell container, cut it off, used the muzzle from one of the Bandai heavy rifles, and just re-glued the scope back on, so it gives it that Return of the Jedi look. Okay, so they'll paint that up a bit later and give it a bit of weathering as well. Alright, onto the painting of the tissue. I'll be using the layer medium sea grey for that. Okay, so you can do it two ways. You can add a bit of water to this, or makes it go on quicker. Don't worry about if you get it on something else, because it's all going to be painted anyway. Alright, so once this dries, you'll be able to see the creases better as well. So it's going to work out really well. Like I said, you can water this down if you want. That way too, if you do water it, it makes the tissue a bit more flexible while you are painting. Okay, like I said, don't worry about it if you get it all over the armour and all. Alright, you just want to make sure that the cloth is getting painted, okay? That's the main part of it. I'll take the head off. As you can see, I'm very rough when it comes to painting the main body part, especially if I'm going to be painting over the armour and all. It doesn't bother me at all, because that's when I start doing it a bit delicate and a bit slower. Now you can actually paint this before you put all the armour on. It's totally up to you, and then paint all the armour first. But I like to paint it all while it's on. Okay, so it's a preference. So all up, if I wasn't taking a video as well, all up, it'd probably take about 12 hours from the base to doing the figure to complete it. So in days, it'd probably take about 3 days for me to build one of these usually. But I'm enjoying the tutorials really good, so I'll be doing a lot more. I've had a lot of people. I want to say thanks to everyone that's asked questions as well. Really appreciate it. All the people that have subscribed. Okay, thanks guys and girls. It means a lot. And I hope I keep bringing you great tutorials in the future. So when you are painting this as well, just remember to give the tissue a good 3 to 4 hours to dry. Okay, so that way when you start painting over it, like the dry brushes and everything, you're not going to tear the tissue as well. And sometimes you have to do 2 coats depending on how thick you've gone. Nearly done, just one more leg. Now I'll have to add the part of the strap under his between his legs and up his bum cheeks. I'll add that later with a bit of pleather, and also the straps around his knee, behind his knees. Okay guys, he's all done for his uniform. I'll go over it a bit, make sure once it dries there's no little parts I've missed. Okay, so that is what it looks like so far. Okay, so you've almost got the colour already for his uniform using the medium sea grey. Alright, I just want to add a bit of depth to it with a bit of wash and then dry brushing. Alright, and then I'll start on the armour. Alright guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, the medium grey, sea grey has dried. Okay, and as you can see, it is almost identical to Fett's uniform. Just needs a bit of weathering into it, so I'll start that now. Okay, so with that, with the weathering, just get yourself a brush. Water it down a bit with some black paint. So you don't want to be too thick with this, so all you do, go around the areas where there's creases and everything, and don't worry if you get too much on there. Okay, so just nice and light. Okay, so it's up to you where you want them. The other option you can do is just give it a whole wash of black, but it will darken the grey up a lot, then you have to do a lot of dry brushing to it. This is still going to get a very light dry brush, but not as much as we would if I was going to give this whole uniform a wash. And with doing the wash, it's going to be a technique that you'll learn yourselves. As I said before, everyone's different the way they paint and weather. Okay, so again, there is no wrong or right way to do it. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters. And that's the biggest thing I tell people when they text me or email me about how they start modelling. You know, if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to get the satisfaction out of it, and you're not going to put as much effort into it. Okay, so you just enjoy it, guys. It's a fantastic hobby. We all know that. You know, and there's a lot of people out there that are fantastic painters and everything. So just learn from them. There's videos, as you all know, from YouTube. So just learn from everyone. And if you don't know, I've got an old saying, if you don't ask, you don't know. Okay, and it works. You're not going to know if you don't ask. And don't be shy, you know, people aren't going to bite your heads off. Yeah, if you don't get an email back from them, well, yep, you go to the next person. But like I said, most people that I deal with, and I've even asked questions even now, more than happy to give out information on how they do it. Or again, they've got the YouTube that way. So yeah, just enjoy it. Now if you are going to start out modelling for the first time, I suggest trying those little Star Wars command figures, the plastic things. They're fantastic. They're plastic, as I said, and they're cheap. That's the best way to do it. And they've got all the characters that Bandai have got, except for, except for the newer figures from Force Awakens. So, you know, it's got everything, so you can practice on there. And if you can do good detailing and weathering on a figure that scale, you're going to be able to do weathering figures, weathering and painting on this scale. Okay. So it just takes practice. Okay, nearly finished the wash where I want it. Just go over them again just to make them a little bit darker. Okay, now what I'm doing now is just going over it again very lightly with very light amount of wash, and just go over it very lightly. This will help cover any spots I missed. So doing this very light wash will get, like I said, you'll get into the little areas that I missed, and also when I dry brush it, it'll give it a nice little effect of the uniform moving. Okay. That's pouches. Okay, now the glove. I pre-painted the gloves before, so just give them a bit of a heavier wash. Again, it won't matter because I've got to dry brush these and add the detail as well. As you can see, it's filled in the crevices and that really good. Okay. Yeah, I do apologise again if the picture's not great. I'm still learning how to paint with a light, and using a camera. I usually paint a lot at daytime, and I have my window open. I've got my desk right near my window, as you can see. So I have that open plus with my light on, and it helps a lot. And I get the natural light. That's why when I do take my photos, I do take them in the natural light. Again, if you go too thick on the wash with the gloves or the hands, again, don't worry about it. The dry brush will tone them down heaps. Okay. Okay, so the gloves are done now, so we'll let them dry. Now we'll do the dry brushing. And don't forget as well, you're going to be adding dirt and that to these figures, because, or to this figure, or your figure, because he's in natural surroundings, so he's going to have a little bit of dirt on him, depending how he's walked through it and everything. Now, with the dry brush, I'm just going to use Vallejo's light grey, give it a good shake. You only need a little bit for this. Now all I want to do with this is just very lightly bring out the raised areas and give it a nice little tone to it. You're going to have next to no paint on your brush when you're doing this, okay? Don't forget to get inside between the armour. I know it's going to look a bit hard, but it's not. Especially with the tissue there, the tissue actually gives it a nice little raise over the razor that are there already. Just go along the edges. And if you do stuff up, don't worry about it, you can just go over it again. Okay, so yeah, it's all practicing curves with it. Took me years and years to get to the technique I've got of painting, and that was the help with my dad, who originally built models and passed it down to me. And then, yep, I took his techniques on board, then started dabbling around by myself and finding what I could and can't do. Practicing and practicing, watching other people. But back then we had no internet. When I first started modelling, that was 36 years ago. So I started when I was 12. So then, yeah, then the internet came out and it was a lot better. There, so thank God for internet, I'd say. Now with this last bit, just go over with what you've got left on your brush, and there will still be a little bit there, but not a lot. Okay, and oh, gloves, don't forget the gloves. You want to just highlight these a bit more. Okay guys, that's it for the dry brushing for the uniform. I'll be back soon and I'll start painting up the armour areas. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.